Tennessee, ranked number 6, still in the mix for a major bowl bid. And here's Vanderbilt, hoping to score their first win in Knoxville since Gerald Ford was president. Well, Tennessee stands alone in second place behind Florida in the SEC East. Bottom half of that division includes Kentucky, Vanderbilt. Oh, what a tough year for South Carolina and Lou Holtz. Hi, everybody. Craig Bullerjack along with Ed Cunningham. Final home game for 23 seniors. Major bowl bid on the line for Tennessee. Little nervous? Well, for some, but not for T. Martin. He told us he's ready to go.
T. Martin got a proper send-off there by the Neyland Stadium faithful, and they should. He could go 14-0 at home in his career as a starter. Interceptions on the year a little high early in the season, Craig. 9, but only 2 in the last 5 ball games. Very strong arm. Martin can throw the ball off of his back foot as good as anybody in the country, but really he beats you with his feet. He leads the team with 9 rushing touchdowns on the year. He beats you with a lot of different aspects of his game.
And let's talk about Vanderbilt. Much improved offensively under head coach Woody Woodenhofer, but it's their defense that could carry this team to bowl eligibility.
It's their defense that has really got this program turning the corner. The last 3 ball games, they've done spectacular against South Carolina, Florida, and Kentucky, holding those teams well below their average. That was the worst output under Steve Spurrier at Florida Field 2 weeks ago. The key to that defense, Jamie Winborn, their sophomore middle linebacker, leads the SEC in tackles. He led it last year in '98. Craig, this will be the 4th year in a row a Vanderbilt linebacker leads the Southeastern Conference in tackles.
Well, Woody Woodenhofer is the head coach of Vanderbilt. Just signed on a 4-year extension November 12th, which will keep him as the head coach through 2005. He is 0-2 career against Tennessee. And the cheers are here at Neyland Stadium. Phil Fulmer, 8th season as the head coach. He played here at Tennessee. Of course, won the national championship a year ago. Weather conditions very, very foggy this morning. Temperature, though, now 45 degrees. And the forecast, sunny skies in Knoxville. To look at this series, note, Ed, Tennessee with a commanding lead against Vanderbilt. Last meeting, a blowout in '98. Tennessee with a 41-0 shutout. Vols have won 16 in a row. Well, Tennessee won the toss, chose to defer. They'll take the ball in the second half, so they'll kick it away. Jimmy Williams and Tavares Hogan's back to receive the kick of David Leverton. Tennessee 8-2 on the season, 5-2 in the SEC. Vanderbilt comes in at 5-5, and we're underway. Taken by Williams at the 2. Williams finds his seam and works his way up to the 21-yard line. That's where Greg Zolman and the Commodores will take over their first series of the afternoon. Zolman, a sophomore from Miamisburg, Ohio, 6'4", 198-pounder, nearly 2,000 yards passing with 10 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
We talked to Zolman during the week. He said his whole key today to this game, the only goal he has, no interceptions. He struggled with that as of late.
Vanderbilt will start it with a double tight end set. On first down, they'll go to the ground, and they will challenge Tennessee right up the middle. Fred White making the stop on Rodney Williams, and will set that Vanderbilt offense. Backs and receivers, Williams and Yoder, along with Hogan, Stricker, and the tight end is Elliott Carson. Gruber, May, Barnett, Saltzman, and Bindum is the offensive line.
And the one thing that John Chavis, the defensive coordinator for Tennessee, is concerned about is the formations of Vanderbilt. They do a lot of different things with that H-back Yoder. You're not sure what kind of personnel groupings Vanderbilt will come out with.
Second down and 6. Zolman, far sideline, caught, and on second effort is Hogan's, and a first down for Vanderbilt. Defensively for Tennessee, it's Ellis, Henderson, Walker, and Overstreet up front. The linebackers, very good. Sessions, Stevens, and Raynock Thompson. And the secondary of Lott, White, Grant, and Dwayne Goodrich.
Darwin Walker, the strength of the middle of that defense, playing today. He missed last week's game against Kentucky with a bad shoulder. We'll see how he holds up.
1st and 10. Vanderbilt on the ground. Williams trying it near side. Trying to turn the corner. But got hit up high by Andre Lott, the left corner, number 30.
And that's one thing that Vanderbilt's going to try to do is get that corner with Rodney Williams. And you're also going to see Jared McGrath, who had a fantastic game a couple weeks ago against Florida, trying to get to that corner. Number 23 is Dwayne Goodrich down on the field, the starting right cornerback for Tennessee.
Oh, and Ed, what a loss it would be. Goodrich, the defensive MVP a year ago in the Fiesta Bowl, and of Oaklawn, Illinois.
And one thing that Tennessee has been able to do all year, Craig, is overcome a lot of injuries. We just mentioned Darwin Walker went down. Today they're missing Eric Westmoreland, their starting middle linebacker. They've had to rotate. Philip Fulmer and his staff have had to rotate a bunch of people through that defensive backfield.
We'll take a break as they look at Dwayne Goodrich. Scoreless here at Neyland Stadium. We'll be right back. Depot College football here on CBS, and it's good. Dwayne Goodrich able to get off the field under his own power. They continue to look at his right arm, and back to live action. Vanderbilt on the move. A couple of yards on the carry.
A lot of things you have to contend with as a defensive back. Here's Goodrich right here. He's in motion following the receiver Hogan's. Gets cut blocked, bounces up off the ground, and then it's called friendly fire, Craig, as the defensive lineman runs up his backside. But for Goodrich, Tennessee needs him to get back in the game. A 3-year starter at corner. They can't be without him for this game.
Yeah, the sophomore Teddy Gaines replaces him at right corner. Vanderbilt methodically moving upfield, 3rd down and 3. Zolman pedals back, 5-step drop, has good protection, throws, nearly intercepted and then dropped at the 40-yard line. The intended receiver was Hogan's, and Teddy Gaines, who just came in for Goodrich, had the bead but couldn't hang on.
And that's a very dangerous pass. The out route to the right, when we talked to John Chavis, the defensive coordinator for Tennessee, he said Zolman likes to throw to his left. They'll even set up formation so he can do that. That time, the out route to his right, he gets there late, and Gaines, a trackster for the University of Tennessee track team. If he gets that, he's going in for 6.
John Markham, one of the better punters in the SEC. He's dropped 11 of his last 14 inside the 20. This one's short, taken at the 29, bobbled by Eric Parker, and maybe a 2-yard return up to the 32-yard line. A 30-yard punt and a 4-yard return. So much anticipation here in Knoxville. Final home game for T. Martin, the senior, and a Mobile, Alabama.
And really his biggest improvement, Craig, has been in the red zone. Last year when they made the march to the national championship, they were really a running team inside the 20. This year, Randy Sanders, the new offensive coordinator, has gone to more passing, and he's really picked that up.
Yep. Play action it is to the near sideline, caught and then brought down at the 46-yard line. Making the catch was Eric Parker. We'll set that Tennessee offense. Henry, Crosby, and Wilson, along with Martin, and the tight end is Finlayson. And up front, Clifton, Weary, Riley, Coleman, and Josh Tucker.
Travis Henry in the starting lineup. Jamal Lewis still has a little problem with his ankle. Was going to see if he could go today. If he said if he wasn't close to 100%, he probably wasn't going to play.
Well, you pass once, and now you go to the ground. Olds makes the tackle on Travis Henry. And defensively, Ed, for Vanderbilt, it's Crosby getting the start, along with Olds and Osackle and Russ Nickel on the other end. Linebackers, it's a good foursome. Stewart, Winborn, Turner, and Morrow. And the secondary of Williams, Ainsley Battles, Lercius, and Russian Jones.
Ainsley Battles, a senior strong safety, a 3-year starter. He is third in the SEC in tackles with 103. He said Jamie Winborn's pretty much got it wrapped up. Another Tennessee player down on the field. It looks like Fred Weary, the left guard, down.
Weary out of Montgomery, Alabama. A couple of volunteers getting knocked to the ground early here, as you saw Philip Fulmer. Say, what a season a year ago for Philip Fulmer.
Take a look at the replay from the end zone, see if we can't see what happened to the left guard, Weary. Here he is right here. Little dive play up the middle, little zone block, comes back. It's a block on Winborn. And then it's, oh, he got that left leg stuck underneath him as Travis Henry tried to dive in for a couple extra yards. That left leg was planted in the ground for Weary, got rolled up. That's one of those tough things, Craig, that as an offensive lineman, you never know what's coming from behind you. Winborn went to the outside. He stopped to try to chase him. And when he went to plant was when Henry got up on that leg.
Well, the polls are open. Vote for the most memorable moment of the century in the CBS Sportsline College Football Millennium Poll. Just click on NCAA football at cbs.sportsline.com or on America Online and enter the keyword CBS Sportsline.
Well, Coach Fulmer's getting a lot of his backups into the game, unfortunately, with these injuries. Toby Champion, a 6'4", 305-pound backup guard, comes in from Humboldt, Texas. A guy that has a lot of potential. One of those players, Craig, that they just need him to start to make the progressions they expect because he does have a lot of talent.
Weary, very slow coming off the field here at Neyland Stadium.
Sometimes, Craig, when you get that leg rolled up, it's more of a shock than anything. You know, you feel a little tweak in there. It's kind of scary. Get over the sideline, see if you can't move it around a little bit.
Second down, call it 9. T. Martin pedals back, has a great arm, throws far sideline, incomplete. David Martin, the intended receiver.
Take a look at our Sun America virtual playbook. One thing that Vanderbilt loves to do out of their 3-4 defense, it's a gap responsibility blitz. They'll bring both inside backers into their A gap and B gap respectively. The outside linebacker rushes. Now, Craig, this is a good blitz because you have gap responsibility. It works against the pass and also against the run as long as everybody stays in their gaps.
Well, the linebackers very active for Vanderbilt. 18 of the 32 sacks belong to those 4 starting backers. T. Martin looks one way, throws the other, complete, and brought down Cedric Wilson, number 14.
And Craig, this is where T. Martin has really matured. Cedric Wilson is to the left side of T. Martin. We look at him working one-on-one with Russian Jones. A great move to the outside, but it takes just another second because T. Martin is looking to his right, then comes back to Cedric Wilson. Wilson having a fine season, leads the team now with 53 receptions.
Had some hamstring problems that look very, very fluid there. On the ground, Tennessee. That's Travis Henry to the 35-yard line.
Not only does Travis Henry lead the team in rushing, well probably pass Jamal Lewis to lead the team in rushing today, but he leads the team in nicknames. His nickname before the season was Cheese, and now T. Martin's given him the nickname of Tugboat because he says he's so strong and he likes to watch him from behind just running through people like a tugboat.
Like a block of cheese. He rolls down the field like a block of cheese. Second down for Tennessee. This time for the big block. Travis Henry stood up and pushed back. Russ Nickel, the right end, led the surge for Vanderbilt.
Russ Nickel, the starting defensive end. A little different alignment, a bare alignment, and Nickel is unblocked. The left guard, remember, Toby Champion is the left guard in there for Fred Weary. Left Nickel completely unblocked. And the fullback who was going to block the linebacker ran by him. But a little different alignment, that 3-4. They squeeze down the defensive ends and end up in that 4-6 or bare defense.
Third down and 5 in Tennessee. Over 40% on the third down completion percentage this year. Martin with the quick drop. He throws. Eric Parker, who is a very sure-handed receiver, had a touchdown, heard some steps. You know what, Eddie? He turned before he had possession.
And Jimmy Williams, one of the best cover corners in the SEC, went up on the press coverage. Now, Parker is looking right back into the sun. The early kickoff today, that sun is in a little different position than these Tennessee players are used to. That ball went right into the sun. Parker not able to hold on to it.
David Leverton will punt from midfield. Trying to pooch it inside the 10-yard line, but
didn't get enough air.
Line drive kick, no return. And so Vanderbilt will start on their 20 when we come back. Scoreless in Knoxville. SEC battle, scoreless. Second offensive series. Vanderbilt, Zolman from the shotgun and thrown down behind the 10-yard line. Will Overstreet came barreling through for the sack. And that's the 40th quarterback sack for that Tennessee defense.
Right here, lined up on the inside, goes right inside of Brian Gruber. That is one thing Overstreet has, is great quicks. Not a big guy, 250 pounds, but makes a great quick inside move on Gruber. Overstreet had to play defensive tackle last week with Darwin Walker out. A little undersized for that position. Very quick, though, Craig. He added nearly 20 pounds of muscle during the offseason in the weight room.
Well, he's quick indeed. Only a sophomore now with 7.5 sacks on the season. A loss of 11. Second down, 21. Zolman with a handoff. Williams working near side. Takes a shot, dropped at the 14-yard line. Hard running by Rodney Williams, a 215-pounder out of Birmingham. Anthony Sessions brought him down, number 22 for Tennessee.
This Tennessee rush defense, very good all year, giving up 90.1 yards per game and only 2 rushing touchdowns. They're 8th in the NCAA. And we've already talked about some of the injuries they've had. Darwin Walker was gone. Eric Westmoreland is out today. Done a really good job. John Chavis and his staff done a really good job getting some of these younger guys, a bunch of true freshmen you'll see today play. Done a nice job getting those guys ready.
Swat to the far side, third down. Zolman, good protection, steps up and throws incomplete. Lou Thomas, the intended receiver, who just checked in, and that's 3 up, 3 down for Vanderbilt. They're going to be forced to punt.
And now Tennessee starting to play a little bit. Joe Fulmer knows that early in the game, it's got to become a field position type battle. Not only 3 and out, Craig, but a negative possession because of the sack by Overstreet for Vanderbilt.
Markham at the goal line will punt away. Eric Parker at midfield. Parker breaks the tackle, spins nicely at the 45, and then falls forward up to the 43-yard line. Well, Monday on CBS, work off those Thanksgiving calories with some king-size laughs. Watch Kevin James, Leah Remini, and the one and only Jerry Stiller, an all-new King of Queens, Monday right here on CBS. You got to work off some calories, Mr. Cunningham?
Well, after Thanksgiving, yes. Spent down in Tucson, Arizona with my family. There were seconds, thirds.
Force. The way you eat it, there's fifths. T. Martin much improved over the last 4 or 5 games. Only 2 interceptions over his last 5, and not much on the ground. And a little second or third effort there by Travis Henry. By the way, you got to love this guy. We talked to him yesterday. You talked about the block of cheese and also tugboat. You know what the coaches say? He has no bone, Ed.
Right.
He's all muscle and cartilage.
When you look at what he did in high school, Frost through Florida, 5'11", 220, very solid runner. He had over 4,000 yards rushing as a senior. When we asked him yesterday, did you understand what was going on? He said, not to the last game did I really realize how big a season I was having.
Second down, Martin floats back, throws complete at the 38. David Martin went down, cut some grass as he picked that ball off the turf, but complete.
But here is where you see T. Martin's arm strength. This ball, a long out route to the far side of the field for Martin. Little shot to T. Martin. Travis Henry being a good teammate, helping him out.
Third down and 5. 2 wide receivers set to the near side. Martin now in motion. T. Martin throws to David Martin. First down and more. Down to the 15. Ainsley battles and Jimmy Williams got him around the shoe tops, a 23-yard gain.
When we were talking to Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator for Tennessee, he said Vanderbilt does a lot of things well. Here you're going to see an all-out blitz. Winborn comes on the blitz. Number 23, Harold Lurchis, a cornerback, or excuse me, the free safety. Nobody covered Martin. When you bring the all-out blitz, you got to make sure you have your rotation of your coverage. They forgot to get out there and cover David Martin.
First and 10, Tennessee from the 15. Line up in the I formation. T. Martin, quick 3-step drop, throws corner out. Incomplete. Cedric Wilson, close, but I'd say T. Martin again shows you just the strength of that arm.
Well, that was a little too strong. That was intended for one of the cheerleaders down in the corner of the end zone.
Second down and 10. Under 7 minutes left, first quarter. Ed, opponents inside the red zone against Vanderbilt. 26 opportunities. They've come away with 13 touchdowns and 10 field goals.
So good success rate as a percentage of scores, but they've done a nice job of not allowing teams in the end zone once they get inside the 20.
Second down, 10. Henry gets the call, bumped outside, stood up, and then out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Battles in Williams again. One hit.
Yeah, it's
will not bring down Travis Henry.
Jimmy Winborn, who is the top tackler in little tap there from Henry, saying you got to do better to grab my shoe. But Winborn went low on Henry. He's got those strong legs. He ran right through that leg tackle of Winborn, able to only pick up a yard, but Winborn had him dead to rights with about a 2-yard loss and just wasn't able to take Henry down.
Henry made his first start at last week, by the way. Jamal Lewis has been battling a high ankle sprain, but he responded with 179 yards and 3 touchdowns against Kentucky.
Tennessee not great success, below the national average in scoring inside the 20.
Third down, 9, shotgun. T. Martin swings it out, complete. It's Martin down inside the 10 to the 9.
And Craig, you have to give Vanderbilt's defense a win here. Now Tennessee's going to be faced with about 4th and 7. They'll have to send in their field goal unit. And Woody Wooden offers defense. Strike up a win for them, because when Tennessee took over the ball inside of their territory, that's considered a quick change. Nice job by them not letting Tennessee into the end zone.
Alex Walls will try the field goal, 26-yard attempt. Walls 7 of 10 on the season. And the kick is up and good. Tennessee scores from 26 yards out. And the Volunteers lead Vandy by 3. Glad Volunteer fans, over 107,000. And no return for Tavares Hogan's, and so Vanderbilt with a 3rd offensive series will start at their 20. We saw the blue skies, Ed. Let's take you back a few hours. 9:30 this morning. I about fell over you walking up the stairs here to the press box.
One of the biggest stadiums. That stadium right there, you can barely see it, but one of the biggest stadiums in college football. And from where we sat, we could barely see it. We thought we were going to have another fog bowl like the Chicago-Philadelphia playoff game.
Well, it's amazing what a few hours will do, won't it?
We were a little nervous up here. We were going to have to call the game from the field.
Not a cloud to be seen. Hogan's lines up to the near side. First down from the 20. It's Rodney Williams. Stacked up, second effort, breaks through the pile of orange to the 24. Well, he was stopped at the line of scrimmage. Deion Grant finally made the stop, but not before Williams picked up 4.
Great push up the field early. Albert Hainsworth right there. He's a true freshman, 6'6", 300 pounds. One of those guys who's gotten a lot of time, but Rodney Williams runs right around the back. And a good effort by Williams to get down the field. 98, he was the leading rusher, the leading freshman rusher in the SEC. That made 2 years in a row that Vanderbilt had that the year before. It was Jimmy Williams, who's now a cornerback for the Commodores.
Closing in on 600 yards rushing this season. Second down, 6. And Zolman takes a seat for the second time.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those cheap sacks that goes into the book. Zolman was on a naked boot. Lost his footing as he came around. And Dominique Stevenson was standing there. Going to fake the handoff. Continue around the offensive line, all blocking to the right, and just lost his footing. Maybe got tripped up there with Williams, but that's one of those cheap sacks. But Stevenson will take that in his stat book.
Third down and 13. Coleman, looks like he had trouble again, setting up, chase from behind, kicks it into high gear to the sideline. He's going to be short and runs over that Tennessee bench to the hedge.
I hope he's okay, Craig. He's got to pull his head out of the bushes.
Oh, Dwayne Goodrich was giving chase. Short of the first down.
Will Overstreet again. Lined up on Gruber, does a good job with the arm under move and chases out of the pocket. Now Zolman's got to know he's only got 1 more yard. Cut it back and try to fight. Not a late hit there, but not able to stop. That's a tough shot. Thank goodness he's wearing thigh pads, because he hit that thigh right on the bench, but almost got stuck in the hedges. If this were Georgia, the hedges at Georgia are a little thicker. He might have got stuck.
Third punt for Markham. Good high hanger, fair catch signaled at the 32 by Eric Parker. For an update on Pitt and West Virginia, back to our New York studios, and here's Tim Brando. Tim?
Fellas, there's only one bowl game that's open-ended, meaning not tied into a conference, and that would be the Motor City. Vandy would like to get in there provided they win today. They need some help, though. West Virginia may be giving it to them because Pittsburgh is also on the Motor City's list. So it could be good news in Music City if Mark Bolger can keep making touchdown passes like that.
Jerry Porter, a converted free safety for West Virginia, coming up with a big play as a wide receiver.
Up and down year for Mark Bolger, the quarterback there at West Virginia. Henry, the ball carrier, picks up a couple to the 36. Olds. Ryan Olds, a nose tackle, making the stop for Vanderbilt.
Travis Henry in last week's game, when he came out towards the end against Kentucky, Tennessee had run the ball 24 times, and Henry had done 23 of those rushes. So very durable, not very tall, 5'10", 5'11", but carries that 220 pounds. He's very broad across his shoulders, can handle that many carries.
Well, backing right up the middle. Can he make it? 15-10, touchdown, Tennessee. 63 yards.
You have success running the ball when your running back has holes that big and then gets to the safeties. He got to Battles and Lercius Jones before they could converge and make the tackle. It happened so fast. The safeties were on their heels, could not get over, got there late. You're not going to arm tackle Travis Henry.
Walls the extra point, 30 of 31. Make it 31 of 32. What a run by Henry, 63 yards. Quarter.
No big deal against Kentucky at 125 in the first quarter last week.
Jimmy Williams picks up the kick, stacked up, and then dropped to the 27.
We just saw a nice piece on Greg Zollman about who his mentor is. It's Father Bob, a high school coach. It's Father Bob, his mother, his grandmother, who's 80, and his brother, Jeff, who's the quarterback at Miamisburg High School in Ohio, have not missed a game this year. They've only flown to one. They've driven to every other game, and he said his dad is an Iron Man behind the wheel. Does it all by himself, will not let anybody else drive.
He must have a heavy foot. McGrath checks into that backfield, gets the carry, hit, picks up a couple to the 31-yard line. And for another update on Pitt, West Virginia, back to New York, here's Tim Brando.
You may recall Walt Harris once coached under Johnny Majors at Tennessee. Well, his team is tough, and Nick Goins exemplifies it there, taking it in for the touchdown to tie the game at 7. Again, possible bowl bid to the Motor City on the line for the Pittsburgh Panthers.
Big game for Pittsburgh. Walt Harris has that program. We did their last game at Pitt Stadium. They're tearing it down now. They have to play the game in West Virginia because they've already brought in the wrecking balls up in Pittsburgh. Or maybe it was just their turn to play.
Lou Thomas and McGrath in the backfield. Second down. McGrath trying to get outside. Picks up a couple of tough yards to the 34-yard line. McGrath and Williams, a pretty good combination in that Vanderbilt backfield. McGrath wanted to really play at Florida. Not much interest. And then against the Gators, the game we did a few weeks back, he ran for 125 yards against East Three.
You got the feeling that Jared McGrath wanted to prove a point against Florida. 20 rushes, 125 yards. This one he broke away. Benny Alexander was there to tackle him, but had all his family there, including his father, Jerry, who played at the University of Florida. And I owe Jerry an apology. I said Jerry was a walk-on. He talked to Jared this week. He said, if that guy had come to me and tell him I was a scholarship player at Florida. I stand corrected.
Third down, shotgun. Zollman throws, incomplete. Yoder, the intended receiver. There's a flag down, holding the call. And Tennessee will decline, so that brings up fourth down in a punting situation again for Vanderbilt.
And Zollman is coming under a very heavy rush. That time Tennessee came with the blitz. And another nice stop on defense for Tennessee, but Zollman really come under a heavy rush. Will Overstreet's been playing very well. That time, Chavis comes with a blitz, able to get pressure up the middle and make Zolman get rid of it before he wanted to.
Markham to kick. Eric Parker, little line drive, taken down with no return at the 35-yard line. Steve Rock making the special teams tackle. And tonight on CBS, Team USA takes on the world in a blade-to-blade meltdown. Your favorite ice skating champions compete on an all-new Ice Wars. Check that out tonight right here on CBS.
Tennessee coming up with pretty good field position here.
At Vanderbilt's got to move the ball because, again, it's going to become a game of field position.
Well, and the one thing, although Vanderbilt has very good frontline defensive players, not a lot of depth yet building that program. These guys are going to start to get worn out.
Not much this particular carry for Henry, who ripped off a 63-yarder the last time he touched the football. Jamie Winborn made the stop.
Jamie Winborn is very good at pursuing over the top. Here he is. Everything's forced in the middle, keeps his position, and he does what's called fit into his gap. One thing that Dino Foligno, the defensive coordinator, talks about with his players, Winborn, one of the best, is fit into your gap. He waited for the outside to come open. He came out there. There was nowhere for Henry to go. That time had a little more success tackling Travis.
A loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Down goodbye. Cedric Wilson, touchdown. "66 yards, but flags are down at the 40.
There was a lot of hands, and they're calling the interference on Cedric Wilson. There was a lot of hand pushing when Wilson went to get that ball. They called him for pushing Jimmy Williams off. And from the initial look,
pass interference on the offense. 15 yards, previous spot. Repeat. Second down.
This is one of those balls, Craig, that I'm not sure T. Martin doesn't purposely underthrow it. It's the 9 route or the go by Jimmy Williams. And the left hand, it was the left hand of Cedric Wilson. That's how he got the separation from Jimmy Williams. He pushed him on that left hip, got him away. This crowd's not happy with the call, but that is the proper call. Jimmy Williams was in great position. The only way for Wilson to get any separation was to push off with that left hand.
Boy, Wilson has shown absolutely no signs of that hamstring problem he's been working with the past few weeks. 3 wide receivers set now in 2nd and 26. High snap, T. Martin cuts and runs. He's a bucket at the middle of the goal at the 50 to the 45 to the 42-yard line. T. Martin brought down by Lurchus and Battles. And don't forget, folks, T. Martin, we've seen his arm, but he's also the 3rd leading rusher for Tennessee. 38 yards.
Watch the hole that opens up right in the middle. The middle of that offensive line. Spencer Riley, Fred Weary, Toby Champion's in there now. Cozy Coleman, a great job getting those guys pushed to the outside. That you saw Chad Clifton, the left tackle, give the jack with the inside hand. Boy, that just opened up wide for T. Martin.
1st and 10. Again, running right up behind Cozy Coleman and Spencer Riley. And Travis Henry bangs for big yards. Battles and Winborn again. Team up to make the tackle.
One thing when we talked to Randy Sanders earlier this week that he's had to do to get his running game going is they've had to spread the field a little bit more. Missing Peerless Price, who had such a great job last year on the one-on-ones, making those long catches, missed him a little bit. They started spreading the field, but let's make no bones, Craig. This is a very good power running team.
This time Bartholomew, the fullback, picks up close to the 1st down. They needed about a yard.
And the fullbacks in this offense, not a lot of usage. That was only the 3rd carry of the year for Bartholomew. He had 5 yards of total offense coming into this game.
And no complaints.
None.
No complaints at all. Well, that ends the 1st quarter with the score. Tennessee out in front of Vanderbilt 10-0. We'll return to Neyland Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. Home Depot College football here on CBS. 10-0 Tennessee, and they're driving again. 3rd down and inches, and T. Martin falls over. And it's moving on for Tennessee. 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line.
Going right over the top of Spencer Riley. the 43 straight starts, 4-year starter for Tennessee at center. The officials finally give the first down to Tennessee, but Spencer Riley, when we talked to the coaches, Craig, both Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, and Philip Fulmer, the head coach, remember Philip Fulmer was an offensive lineman here at Tennessee, talked about Riley and said he is the epitome of toughness. He is a great example of what we want here at Tennessee, a hardworking guy who gets his job done. He's been so consistent for them in the middle over the last 4 years.
Likes to talk, too.
Has a good time.
Practice and also in game. Little swing pass. Wide open. Leonard Scott. Touchdown. .33 yards, and the Volunteers marching up and down against Vanderbilt.
And the one thing you do if you're going up against a defense like Vanderbilt who likes to blitz is a screen. Watch the middle of the offensive line all go out on the flanker screen and get downfield, including Clifton, the tackle. And if there's one thing Leonard Scott can do, he can run in the open field. The 60-meter indoor champion in the NCAAs, he set a UT record running a 6.56 60 meters.
Alex Walls kicks the extra point. 17-0 Tennessee. Tavares Hogan's taking the kick as we come back live here to Neyland Stadium. And Hogan's takes it back up to the 32-yard line.
And this Vanderbilt offense needs to get something going. Their defense has given up a couple of big plays, but this offense of Vanderbilt just early, still early in the game. Start to mix in the run and the pass so you get some play action things going. Zolman, a very strong arm. That's one thing that all the coaches from Tennessee feared was a strong arm. Get some things moving short and then maybe try to take a couple of shots down the field.
Lou Thomas is the lone back. 1st and 10 Vanderbilt at their own 32-yard line. And now Zolman looks over Tennessee's defense and has to burn a timeout.
Craig, the reason he called timeout, there was only 10 guys in the formation for Vanderbilt. That's a mistake that cannot happen. On that sideline, they have to have all the personnel ready to know who to put in. Big mistake for Vanderbilt. It's not panic time. Just get some things going offensively. Steve Crosby, their offensive coordinator, been around for a lot of years. Not going to panic.
Thomas in motion. 1st and 10. Zolman, the left-hander, pedals back, feels the rush. Stiff arms his way down to the 32, maybe a yard to the 33. They call it fumble, and possession remains to Vanderbilt.
Remente Bindum still down on the field, the starting right tackle. But again, it's just a 4-man rush. Right up the middle, Darwin Walker, who wasn't expected to play, didn't know if he could play the entire game, does a nice job beating inside the left guard of Jim May. But just a 4-man rush by Tennessee.
Bindum being attended to, and we'll be back. And Vanderbilt now knocking on the door at the 24-yard line of Tennessee. 1st and 10. And now another timeout called by Zolman. Oh, what a strange game this has been. And with that, another break. We'll come back to Knoxville. Don't go away. Second quarter here in Knoxville, 13-13 remaining before half, and Tennessee with a 17-0 lead. Boy, a couple of burned timeouts by Vanderbilt.
And Tennessee was just flagged for illegal substitution in their defense. They had 12 men in the huddle. You can't have 12 men in the huddle. A big penalty, Craig, because because they're inside the 20-yard line, it becomes half the distance to the goal and takes Vanderbilt all the way down to the 12-yard line.
Now they're going to have to hold up play here because they don't have the change set along the far sideline. The officials were having a, well, can I call it a discussion with Philip Fulmer? I don't know how friendly. 1st and 10, Vanderbilt, 13-yard line. Skipping up the middle, Williams, touchdown. Williams rumbles in for his 8th score from 12 yards out.
Craig, what I want people to watch is the cut by Rodney Williams. A very simple zone blocking play, man blocking, cuts right behind the block of Jeff Barnett, the 5th-year senior. An excellent plan on that left foot by Williams. Found the seam to the backside. The entire Tennessee defense rotating to their right, wasn't able to come back. A nice cut by Rodney Williams.
Well, this whole series has been a series of confusion, but yet Vanderbilt gets in the end zone. Markham the extra point. Williams scores his first touchdown in 5 games. We'll be back.
Career, a 50-yard, 73-yard, 68-yard, 55-yard, 84-yard. That one a 44-yard reception, so he's used to getting down the field.
3 plays, 67 yards for Vanderbilt. Leonard Scott near side, cuts it up the middle, and then stacked up at the 14-yard line. Make sure you stick around. Coming up next right here on CBS, it's going to be Syracuse and Miami and a matchup of receivers. Spotwood for Syracuse and Santana Moss. That's coming up next right here on CBS.
Well, we already saw a track sprinter, Leonard Scott, for Tennessee win a run down the field in that on that flanker screen. You'll see Santana Moss, another burner for Miami later. That's Antoine Bradford, a linebacker for Vanderbilt, who was running down on the kickoff, who's shaken up.
He actually made that special teams tackle. He's a sophomore out of Batesville, Mississippi. A lot of players down today.
Late in the season, you think guys start to wear down a little bit. Bradford, a big play, has 2 blocked punts on the season, and Woody Woodenhofer said, here's a guy, doesn't quite fit into our starting rotation because of the guys we have in there, but we've got to get him on the field. He's going to be a special player for us.
Backs up Lamont Turner at one of the inside linebacker spots.
There's a shot of Woody Woodenhofer. 4 Super Bowl rings with the Steel Curtain, was a defensive coordinator for Chuck Noll and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Said he'd give all of those back for 1 SEC title ring in Vanderbilt.
And you know what? Your first thought is, oh, come on. But you know what? Talking to Woody Woodenhofer, he is sincere and passionate about that statement. 17-7, Tennessee back on offense. Not much room to roam for Travis Henry. Ainsley Battles made the tackle.
And now it's the defense's turn to feed off of the offense for Vanderbilt. A great job covering the kick, stopped it inside the 15-yard line, and now Tennessee, who had a bunch of success running the ball up the middle, and this time Ainsley Battles, a strong safety, down around the line of scrimmage, and there was nowhere to run. You kind of get the sense Vanderbilt's starting to feed, get a little emotion back.
David Martin lines up to the near side on 2nd down. Pitch back. Travis Henry following his blockers up to the 18-yard line.
And it's again, it's Ainsley Battles, the strong safety, coming up. Was actually lined up deeper off the ball that time, but the one thing Dino Foligno and his defensive staff work on every single day is fits. In their defensive playbook, Craig, they have a section, it's almost like their mission statement. Their mission is to play team defense, and against the run, everyone has to know where they fit into what gap, and that time Ainsley Battles got into his gap, able to make another tackle on the run.
3rd down and 4, T. Martin pedals back, throws incomplete. David Martin had some room along that far sideline, so Tennessee cooling off a bit. They'll be forced to punt.
And the first 3 and out for Vanderbilt on defense may put their offense with good field position. We saw earlier that the field position had really gone Tennessee's way early in this game, but now with a 3 and out, Vanderbilt's defense, they may put their offense in pretty good position.
Leverton's first punt went 36 yards. He'll need a good boot here. He'll kick from his own 5, and Jimmy Williams awaits. Williams settles underneath at the 35. Williams at the 40. Williams to the sideline. He steps out of bounds at the 48-yard line. 46-yard punt, 13-yard return. And tonight on CBS, teen violence in our schools is out of control. Now, one man is taking a stand to protect innocent students. Deion Sanders joins Chuck Norris for a show every parent should see. All new Walker, Texas Ranger tonight on CBS.
And there the defense of Vanderbilt paid off. A nice little return by Jimmy Williams, and Vanderbilt takes over at near midfield.
And this crowd senses that momentum change as they, for once, get a little noisy. 107,000 strong here at Neyland Stadium. Zolman on the left-hander steps and fires, ball tipped and then incomplete.
Keon Whiteside got in there and got a hand on Zolman. You look at the possessions, and they needed something, Craig. They 5 plays, 4 plays, and then 2 3-and-outs. That one drive, they only managed -6 yards, but needed something to get going. And that time, the last drive, the big play to Hogan's got it down the field, and then Rodney Williams finished it off. They need one of the same so they can start to get more of that momentum back. And you're right, Craig. This crowd of 107,000, although they were asleep at noon, maybe starting to wake up.
Second down and 10. Zolman on the option, cuts it up, and yardage to the 46. I'll bring up a third down. Whiteside and Overstreet made the stop. Zolman once in a while will sneak in an option play. He can tuck and run. Good stride at 6'4", 200-pounder, a sophomore out of Miamisburg, Ohio.
Still having some of those growing pains this season. You know, in college football, take that with a grain of salt. In college football, they count sacks against your rushing total. So Zolman has been sacked quite a few times, 6 times against Florida a few weeks ago. So don't think he can't run because of that statistic.
Yoder in motion. Zolman, shotgun, throws, incomplete. That ball was hanging up there for a while. Yoder, the intended receiver, and Dwayne Goodrich right on his back. Goodrich,
what Vanderbilt tries to do offensively, Steve Crosby has a guy in Todd Yoder who is basically a tight end size player at 6'4", 235, and they try to get a mismatch against cornerbacks, bringing him in motion. That time Goodrich, who was injured earlier in the ballgame, does a nice job coming over the top to knock it away.
This will be the 5th punt for Markham. And Eric Parker back inside his own 15. Good high kick. Takes a bounce into the end zone, touchback, and so Tennessee will have it at their own 20-yard line. 46-yard kick. And now let's take a look at our Army teammates. 2 years ago, Peyton Manning threw his last touchdown pass in Neyland Stadium to Jermaine Copeland as Tennessee beat Vandy 17-10. Here's the special moment. Remember this? Peyton led the fans in his last song of Rocky Top. That was November 29th of '97.
And then this man, T. Martin, had the daunting task of taking over for Peyton Manning. He said, Peyton, any advice? Peyton said, you know, I lived in the shadow of my father, Archie, my whole life. One thing you have to do is be yourself, and Martin has done a great job of that.
Travis Henry fumble. Vanderbilt has it at the 21. A rare fumble by Henry.
And again, you get the sense that even though Vanderbilt's offense didn't do a lot on that play, you had Moreau coming on over the top, Matt Stewart in there, both of them stripping the ball away. Henry not able to hold on, and if you're Philip Fulmer, you got to start to worry about this. And he needs this crowd, Craig. 107,000 people. They really haven't made their presence felt. Now with the ball on the 21, and Vanderbilt definitely with the momentum here, they need this crowd.
And you saw a very, very important statistic. 15 turnovers and 55 points scored off of those turnovers. Lou Thomas trying to tiptoe outside down at the 21. So no gain. Second down 10. Anthony Sessions chased him down.
You know, I think this crowd maybe came in here, Craig, thinking this was a foregone conclusion, that they were going to come in 24-point favorites over Vanderbilt and roll over this team. But we were there a couple of weeks ago when Vanderbilt played Florida at the Swamp and gave Florida everything they could handle, had a chance to tie it late in the game. This is a solid Vanderbilt team.
Lost that game only 13-6. Hogan's in motion. Zolman pedals back, throws, sets up the screen, caught. Rodney Williams, second effort, motor still running, and down at the 17. Dominic Stevenson, the middle linebacker, made the tackle.
Boy, that's one of those plays when they go back and look at the film. If Rodney Williams could have got turned around just a second quicker, everything was set up for him to take that at least for first down yardage. But he had to spin around, jump over a guy, not able to get his feet going, and the Tennessee defense did a really nice job of pursuing inside out and getting over there and stopping a play that looked like it was going to go for big yardage.
Third down and 6. Double tight end set. Elliott Carson and Tom Simone. So they will throw all sorts of different offensive sets at you. Zolman throws, caught. But behind the line of scrimmage, acrobatic catch by Williams.
And unfortunately, that's going to take away from the passing yardage for Zolman. He's going to have to get Rodney Williams over the sideline and say, hey, you're going to catch it falling down behind the line of scrimmage. Just let that one go. I don't need negative yardage.
Well, field goal now. Opportunity for John Markham.
Markham has been spectacular inside of 40 yards this year, Craig. He is 6 of 6, 11 of 15 total, but 6 of 6 inside 40.
His longest 49 on the season. This will come from 36 yards. Markham puts his foot into it and splits the uprights, and Vanderbilt slowly chipping away at Tennessee. It's 17-10. Markham, who just kicked that field goal from 36 yards, will boot it from his own 35. Leonard Scott awaits the kick, slips, and then a little on the ground. Boy, dangerous. Tennessee will start at the 16-yard line. Craig Bullerjack back with Ed Cunningham. That play right there typifies what's happened in this first half. Crazy, just uncontrolled madness so far.
And the thing that Tennessee did, they jumped out to that 17-0 lead, and then they started to make mistakes. Jumping off sides, fumbling some balls, and that one almost cost them big. Vanderbilt would have taken over inside the 20. They just got the ball on their last drive at the 22, so T. Martin and his mates have to get something going here, Craig.
Up by a touchdown, first and 10 from the 16-yard line. Not much. What a pop by Winborn. My, oh my, number 42. You know, he plays hard, but he talks hard. He told us, you know what, I'll back it up too. For 4 quarters, that's the way I practice, and that's the way I play.
Yeah, he runs his mouth. He said, I play as hard as my mouth goes. He said, I'm an effort player. I don't want, his goal, Craig, is to play in the NFL. And he said, I don't want to cheat myself out of that goal. That's why I practice and play so hard.
A gain of 1 for Travis Henry. From the eye, second down 9. T. Martin dancing away from Vanderbilt's D, but they are swarmers. And again, Winborn comes up and makes the stop.
It's Ryan Alds, the nose guard, who gets right up the middle clean, lined up right there on Spencer Riley. A nice move to the outside. Riley looked like he was maybe looking for help from his left guard and didn't get it, but T. Martin able to get away. But Craig, when you talk about a linebacker, you talk about closing speed. Winborn closed the distance between himself and T. Martin very quickly. That's why Martin was not able to escape number 42.
How about those numbers? 7th tackle along with a sack from the shotgun. Handoff. Breaks it. Here comes Henry at midfield. And Henry to the 37. He doesn't need much. Found a seam and went right through it. Brian Taylor saved the touchdown.
If you're just tuning in, you're wondering why Jamal Lewis is not playing. Jamal on the sideline with a sprained ankle, the dreaded high ankle sprain. And you're right, Craig, not much to the outside. Lurchis, the outside, came from the safety spot and let Henry rip off a 48-yard run. He already had a 66-yard run. Good job by T. Martin getting that handle on that high snap, but Travis Henry been very patient all year, taking advantage of Jamal Lewis's injury.
14 carries now for Henry, 138 yards. Henry again, the ball carrier, lowers the pad down to the 34-yard line. So a workhorse, 15 carries already here, Ed, with just under 6 minutes left in the half.
We were talking earlier about some of the statistics he piled up in high school, over 4,000 yards rushing his senior year in high school. And here's a guy who's really had to wait. Tennessee has done fantastic when Travis Henry and Jamal Lewis, who's out of the game, have had big games. 20-0 when one of those guys rushes over 100 yards, and Travis Henry already at that mark.
Henry again on the pitch. And Winborn closed the gap in a hurry. Got some help from Tyler Unzicker. Well, coming up on the AXA halftime report, Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman will bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights. Plus, we'll begin to sort out the BCS Bowls. That may take a while, Ed. And we'll take a look at Miami Santana Moss. All that and more coming up in just a few minutes on the AXA halftime report. Stick around for that.
Well, one thing that got sorted out yesterday, Hokie fans can start buying their tickets for the Sugar Bowl.
Yes, indeed.
The struggles that Nebraska had, and also Texas losing to Texas A&M, that was a real boost for the Hokies.
Third down, 2 wide receivers to the near side. Tennessee remains on the ground, and tough yards to the 31. Nick Morrow led the charge for Vanderbilt. And a few boos you start to hear.
Yeah, at 3rd and 5, these fans were hoping to see T. Martin in his last game maybe drop back and pass that, but Tennessee deciding to stay a little conservative and pound Henry in there. But the way Travis Henry has been running, that's not really a conservative call.
Well, they've had some huge holes behind Spencer Riley and Cozy Coleman, Josh Tucker. It is 4th down, and Philip Fulmer, hands crossed, says let's go for it. 4th and call it 3. 3 wide receivers to the near side. Shotgun is T. Martin. Rolling near side. Martin can tuck and run. Bangs to the 26. 1st down, Volunteers. Wally Conyers made the tackle.
And when you have an athlete like T. Martin with a great arm, but also one of your best runners, I mean, he's almost as good a runner as Travis Henry and Jamal Lewis. You set up the run-pass option, the 3 receiver set to the right side. Martin looking at them. If they're not open, tuck and run. He's just got the ability, the size. He's 215, 220 pounds to get in there and bang with those guys. And Philip Fulmer, with a special athlete like that, a good call on 4th down.
1st and 10 from the 25. T. Martin on a string. Far side. Caught. Tackle is broken. Oh, what a run.
What, didn't you say he had a hamstring problem, Cedric Wilson?
I thought he did. You know what? He had been hampered, had not scored in the last 6 games, has been very limited. But today, 100%.
And here's a guy who Dino Foligno, the defensive coordinator, says if he's healthy, he might be the best receiver in the SEC. That's pretty good company to put him in. There you see what makes him such a good receiver, though, is after the catch, some of the things he's able to do. Very strong with his lower body to run out of those tackles.
16-yard pickup. And 1st and goal now. Dante Stallworth lines up to the near side. Back to the ground. Pushing up the middle. Travis Henry inside the 5 to the 3. Lurchus, the free safety, made the tackle, and right now Woody Woodenhopper, who really specializes on the defensive end, has to wonder, how do you stop this run game?
Yeah, there's only so many things you can do scheme-wise, but when a team is running the ball as well as Tennessee with a power running game, a 220-pound running back like Travis Henry, Tennessee's just lining up and saying, all right, guys, we're just going to use our size and our strength against you. Right now they're winning that battle.
10th play of this drive. 2nd down, goal at the 3. Henry up on his helmet. Travis Henry hit and dropped by Lamont Turner. And let's hope he's
Wally
okay.
Conyers is trying to buy some time, will not get up, and everyone's trying to get Travis Henry landed right on top of his head, Craig.
Well, it's good to see moving his arms, but you can see wanting him medical help to come out quickly.
He got spun when he went for the jump. Fulmer jogs onto the field. Things not looking very good for Travis Henry. He landed right on top of his helmet, Craig.
Henry with 19 carries, 153 yards. Philip Fulmer on the field. Yeah, move those arms.
As Travis Henry comes through the middle, he's going to go to try to dive in the end zone. Lamont Turner goes low, spins him right, and he's going to land right on the top and the front part of that helmet, Craig. That is not a good place to land.
Medical attention for Travis Henry. But we'll step aside and be right back. Welcome back. Home Depot College Football here on CBS. 2:18 to go before the half, and a very, very quiet moment here at Neyland Stadium. A lot of concern for a fine young man, Travis Henry. We talked to him yesterday. Loves this game. He is down after being turned over by Lamont Turner. You can see many of the Volunteers have come onto the field and taking a knee in silent prayer. Philip Fulmer overlooking that group.
And Philip Fulmer really is one of the coaches, Craig, that I look up to in the fact that he really cares about his players. And when we sat down with him yesterday, that's one of the reasons he's done so well in recruiting is the real bond he has with his players. And he was one of the first ones off the sideline when he realized that Travis Henry had landed on the top of his helmet trying to dive into the end zone. And as we take a look again at Travis Henry giving an all-out effort trying to get into the end zone. He takes off from about the 4-yard line, and Lamont Turner goes low and spins, and Henry lands right on the top front part of his helmet. That is not a good position to be in. And Craig, he has not moved since his arms were moving earlier, but with that many people around, tough to see if any other lower parts of his body were moving. But very quiet moment here in Neyland Stadium.
We had a great talk with Travis yesterday. Smiles big, loves this game. As we kind of kidded, the coaches say this kid has no bone. He's just made of muscle and cartilage, and let's hope that holds true here today, where his strength can overcome this injury.
And I've been on the field when guys have been hurt. And the thing about it, when you're on the opposing team, you are just as concerned about everybody else. You want to go out and play and have the best players on the field. Travis Henry, a fantastic running back. If you're Vanderbilt, you want him to be able to play. And, these injuries are just an unfortunate part of this game.
You can see they've brought a cart onto the field and a backboard. Of course, at this time, Ed, you played in the National Football League. This is where doctors come in, and this is just very, very, very specialized, where the medical staff will do all the precautions they can possibly do to take care of Travis Henry. Vanderbilt also showing respect. Boy, it's just so quiet in this building.
Raynoch Thompson and Spencer Riley, two seniors who played in their last game at Neyland Stadium. An emotional day just became more emotional for them.
Medical staff continues to look over Travis Henry. Philip Fulmer overlooking the situation. Fans so quiet here, and every precaution that can be done will be done.
And the key with any kind of, if you suspect any kind of neck or head injury, Craig, is take your time, make sure everything is
Correct.
set right. You want to give the athlete the best chance to come through this.
Now, this crowd all of a sudden becomes alive, chanting Travis. And after an injury, it must take a lot from a coach, from the coaches, to regroup your thoughts. Not only
the players on the field, Craig.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. We had a situation when I was a sophomore in college. We were playing Arizona State, and a linebacker from Arizona State was down on the field for this length of time. And really, both huddles, we got together and said, the game has to go on, guys. And that's the tough part for these players, the emotions they feel with a teammate that they dearly love. But they just have to realize the game goes on, and you just have to find it within yourself to push forward.
Travis Henry made his first start of the season last week in place of the injured Jamal Lewis, who's been struggling with ankle problems, and responded tremendously yet against Kentucky with 3 touchdowns, 179 yards, and today has just been having his way against Vanderbilt's defensive front. But there was such a sparkle in his talk yesterday as we had a great conversation with him at walkthrough.
One of those guys, Craig, who makes our job a lot of fun, just really enjoys the game.
As I mentioned, the best medical care possible being given right now to Travis Henry. Our wishes to him.
We already mentioned how much care and how much Philip Fulmer puts into his players and his relationships with his players. Very tough moment for him.
Philip Fulmer now, his job, Ed, I would guess, is just to talk and get this team refocused. 2:18 remaining before halftime.
You can see the anguish on his face, Craig. He's got to get himself refocused. You know, I mean, he played this game. He played offensive line here at the University of Tennessee, helped them win an SEC championship. He's been in there with injuries like this and realizes how tough it is for teammates and families to go through. And now you have to play the game. So you're right, Craig. It's going to be a big job to get his team refocused and get himself refocused.
With Jamal Lewis out with that ankle injury and now the injury to Travis Henry, that brings their third back, Ontario Smith, into the scene, a true freshman out of Sacramento. Absolute silence in this house. 107,000 plus, all clad in orange.
Medical staff doing everything they can to be as careful as possible. You have to take every precaution possible. In no hurry to do anything to disrupt or move Travis Henry more than they need to.
Well, the cart coming off the field here at Neyland Stadium, and now, Ed, you got to play football.
The leaders for both sides, Craig, now become big. They have to get in their huddles for both sides because this affects Vanderbilt just as much as it affects Tennessee. You never want to see a player have to be carted off the field. But both the leaders, T. Martin for Tennessee and Jamie Winborn, the two leaders for the offense and defense that are left on the field, have to get these guys back into the game. An unfortunate situation, but you still have to continue to play.
And T. Martin, of course, steps up as the leader now for Tennessee. 3rd down and goal as we get back to football. Coming up on 2 minutes left in the half. And in for 6, Crosby, the fullback, 21, his 2nd touchdown of the season. And it's amazing, just like that, you go from silence to cheers.
But reserve cheers, Craig. It's one of those touchdowns that almost seems meaningless after what just transpired before.
Extra point now by John Markham. Very true, Ed. 23-10. Markham trying to make it 24. And the extra point is up and good.
Philip Crosby, we had mentioned how the fullbacks for Tennessee just come to work. Crosby, another guy that Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, said he's really going to miss. A senior who's just really worked hard, done everything they've asked. A good-sized fullback at 243 pounds, just keeps his pads low, fights into the end zone for his 2nd rushing touchdown on only 6 rushes on the season. That's pretty good hitting. It's pretty good batting percentage, touchdowns to rushes.
1-yard touchdown run, 11 plays, took just under 6 minutes, and it was Alex Walls with the extra point.
and Fulmer doing a really nice job. Get the team together. Guys, listen, we've got to go on. Travis Henry, although we don't know what's wrong, we just have to play through, and let's play for him and get some of that enthusiasm back. Good to see Phillip out there on the field doing that with his team.
24-10, Tennessee. Of course, so much really on the line today. A major bowl bid for Tennessee with a victory. Vanderbilt would become bowl eligible with a victory today. They're 5-5, trying to go 6-5. Leverton will kick from the 35 and back to receive Williams and Hogan. Angled to the near sideline and out of bounds at the 6. Out of bounds at the 6. And coming up at halftime, Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman will get you caught up in all the action around the college football scene. BCS Bowls, that scenario, and a special one-on-one with Miami's Santana Moss. It's coming up on the AXA Halftime Report.
Smart heads-up play by Tavares Hogan to let that ball go out of bounds at the 6. A penalty brings it back out to the 35. So very good field position again. Vanderbilt struggled with field position in the first quarter. And now this crowd, Craig, coming back to life. The Tennessee defense swinging their arms. Let's get up and make some noise. We got to continue to play this game. It's good to see this crowd coming back around.
Under 2 minutes left in the half. We'll see if Vanderbilt has a 2-minute offense they'll run. Zolman pedals back. Has some running room. Tucks and heads to the sideline. Stops the clock at the 37. A 2-yard gain, and Dwayne Goodrich ran him out.
It's a long way to run for a 2-yard gain, wasn't it?
Stops the clock, 1:52, and there's a flag along the far sideline at the 45. Holding the call. Rom Gilbert, our referee today.
And all that effort for the 2-yard gain by Zolman now will become a 5-yard gain because they will accept the penalty. So
Holding on the defense. 10 yards. End of the run. Results in a first down.
Excuse me, becomes a 12-yard gain because it's tacked on at the end of the run. We have Hogan's working one-on-one, and that's what you call a tackle by Andre Lott, the cornerback from Memphis, Tennessee. But Hogan's was going to go by him, so Andre Lott decided, you know, instead of giving up the big play, I'll take the 10-yard penalty.
1st and 10, Vanderbilt at their own 48-yard line. Zolman, watch out. Sidesteps it, swings his arm, throws from behind, and I believe it was hit, and now flags come in.
Well, Craig, I think the flag looks like it might be for intentional grounding, but Elliott Carson, the tight end, was standing right over in the sidelines. Craig, if this is intentional grounding, it's the wrong call by the official. And that is what the call is, intentional grounding. Yoder does a really nice job avoiding the rush. Tennessee brings a cornerback and a safety from the outside right there. Both the linebacker Stevenson and White, the strong safety.
Intentional grounding on the quarterback. Lost it down.
But Elliott Carson.
Second down.
And the thing is, Craig, the new rule when you get called for intentional grounding, it's just like a sack. From where you threw it is where they spot it, and you lose it down. That's a bad call by the official, though. Elliott Carson, the tight end, was over by the sideline.
Well, Woody Woodenhofer agrees. 2nd down and 19. A minute 45 remain as they stare into the eyes of that Tennessee front. Lou Thomas, the fullback, he's now in motion. One wide receiver set to the far side. Zolman again, pressure, and down at the 30. Untouched again was Anthony Sessions. Well, he's a junior college transfer from Lincoln JC, a JC All-American.
Right on the outside here, he's going to come unblocked. The running back, Rodney Williams, there was 2 guys blitzing to the outside. He's got to take the inside guy first. He did that, and Anthony Sessions comes free. The exact same blitz that John Chavis called before. Zolman, basically 2 sacks in a row because he got called for the intentional grounding before. But you're like John Chavis, hey, you didn't block it the first time, I'll just run it again.
Well, Vanderbilt right now in reverse. 3rd down, 27. A minute left in the half. Lou Thomas, big hole, breaks it up to the 45, to the 46. Goodrich and White made the tackle.
Goodrich came away with the ball thinking he got the fumble, but that was really a field position call by Steve Crosby and the Vanderbilt offensive staff. Let this clock run down to 37 seconds.
Well, Vanderbilt nearly had got back to the original line of scrimmage on that run.
Almost.
Almost. That brings up 4th down. In a punting situation, Markham in to kick to Eric Parker, who's standing inside his own 25. Markham has been busy with the leg here in the first half.
And with 10 seconds on the play clock, Vanderbilt should let this thing run all the way down to about 6 or 7 seconds and take the penalty.
Play clock down to 1. And they will with 5 ticks remaining in the first half. So march it back 5 and do it again.
And what that does is it makes the punt the last play in the quarter. So just make sure you have good coverage. Block first, because if you're Tennessee.
25-second count on the offense. 5 yards, still 4th down. Clock.
If you're Tennessee, you'd come with the 8-man rush and try to block this. Tennessee actually set up ready for the fake. They've got a safety back and also a guy stacked at linebacker depth. Don't want to take any chances.
Deion Grant's up as the safety back. Markham is powdered and flags are down. No return, rolling inside the 10-yard line, but a flag at the 31.
And Vanderbilt's going to get another offensive play, Craig. Will Overstreet came out in the safe defense for Tennessee. Tennessee was waiting for some kind of fake just to run out the clock. Will Overstreet comes virtually unblocked, but he doesn't go to the point of the ball. He goes to Markham, the punter, and knocks him down. That's going to be a roughing. And because you cannot end the quarter, or excuse me, in the half or the game on a defensive penalty.
Ball, roughing the kicker on the defense. 15 yards, previous spot, 1st down.
So they will get, Vanderbilt will get 1 untimed down from the 45-yard line, Craig, and now they can take a shot into the end zone because Overstreet roughed the punter.
Well, they've got speed with Hogan's and Dan Stricker. Yoder will line up.
Hogan's has already made 1 circus catch earlier in the game. See if he can't come up with another one.
Hogan's heads to the far side along with Yoder. Stricker to the near side.
Mistake on special teams.
So there's no time left on the first half clock, but as you mentioned, you cannot end the half with a defensive penalty. So from the shotgun goes Greg Zolman. You know where he's heading. Deep. Zolman unloads. And incomplete. Stricker was close, but it was not anywhere near. So that ends the first half, and a strange first half with a score. Tennessee leading 24-10. 24-10, and Ed, I would think defensively, Woody Woodenhofer told his ball club, you got to come out in the 3rd quarter, make a stand here, because you can ill afford an early 3rd quarter touchdown to push that score to 31-10.
And really the only adjustment Vanderbilt looking at defensively, stop the big plays. They've come out and had a couple of nice defensive stands, but it's really been the big plays that have hurt them early in this game.
John Markham, the kick. High floater taken back at the 1. Leonard Scott turns on the Jets, has some room near sideline, tripped up at the 25. And Ed Cunningham, let's take a look at the first half numbers.
Really a game dominated by Tennessee. Over 200 yards of total offense over Vanderbilt, but it was the turnover by Tennessee that let Vanderbilt back in this game. 3rd down conversions have been horrible for Vanderbilt, very good for Tennessee. Time of possession was much higher for Tennessee until that 2nd quarter when Vandy actually got a little momentum, but that turnover really helped Vandy get back in this game. Then Tennessee, the lead had been cut to 17-10. Tennessee came out at a nice drive and went in to make the lead 24-10.
Well, Tennessee spreads the field with 4 wide receivers, but they'll keep it on the ground. And T. Williams gives the ball to Jamal Lewis, who did suit up. He did not want to play. He told us that yesterday. If he wasn't 100%, he would rather not go. He's been bothered with that high ankle sprain, number 31, averaging about 88, 90 yards a game.
And a lot of people have said, well, you know, why has Jamal Lewis not had the type of numbers he's had in the past? Not only the ankle sprain, but he's also been had a subluxation of his shoulder all year. That shoulder's been kind of sliding in and out of position.
Well, they throw play action, far side. Set up the wide receiver screen, and Cedric Wilson takes it past the 30 up to the 31-yard line. 3rd down for the Volunteers. Tackled by Schaub, the free safety.
and you see the versatility of this Tennessee offense. When we met yesterday with Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, he said, you know, the one thing that T. Martin allows us to do as an offense is really use any type of play we like. We can run the ball, we can run the option, we can spread it out, we can get in the I formation. That time, because of his arm strength, you can run the flanker screen all the way out near the sideline. Just a very versatile quarterback.
Again, 4 wide receivers set from the shotgun to the near side this time, and David Martin makes the grab. First down, Tennessee at the 37, brought down by Ainsley Battles. And T. Martin got popped on that.
And Jonathan Schaub, a true freshman out of Brentwood, Tennessee, is going to come from Martin's right. But watch him just stand in there, know that the rush is coming, stand right in the face of it. Schaub is unblocked. He's what's called the hot read. When he blitzes off of that weak side, nobody there to pick him up. But it was good patience by T. Martin to wait for his receiver to get his head turned around.
1st and 10, pitch. Crosby picks up 5 up to the 41.
And Jamal Lewis.
Jamal Lewis.
Getting some time in there. We talked about his ankle sprain, but earlier in the season, his shoulder was really bothering him, Craig, and they had to make some adjustments to his shoulder pad. They added a pad underneath the shoulder pad to protect it from the front, but then they had to kind of put a wing, that black thing sticking out, so in case he does get hit, that little thing takes, it's like a shock absorber, takes the hit first before the shock of the hit gets to that shoulder. It was the hits that were making his shoulder slide in and out of joint.
2nd down. Again, dancing off that sprained ankle is Jamal Lewis. To the 46, Lamont Turner made the stop.
And I've watched Jamal Lewis run for 3 years now. He is not close to 100%. He's really gimpy, and right now Spencer Riley is down on the field, but Lewis does not look 100%. With Travis Henry going down in the first half, taken to the hospital. When we get an update, we'll let everybody know how he's doing, but Lewis does not look 100%.
And he's the Vols' 3rd all-time leading rusher, nearly 2,700 yards on the ground. The injured player is Spencer Riley, number 68, and he is a real vocal leader for this Tennessee ball club. We'll take a break and come right back. .12:26 remaining 3rd quarter. T. Martin and company looking down at 3rd and short, and it's going to be close. I believe from the marking it looks like maybe a half a football. Russ Nickel made the stop. They're going to have to bring out the chains.
And the way Philip Fulmer likes to coach, you might want to assume if he doesn't make this first down, he might just go for it again. Again, the quarterback like T. Martin allows you to run him out on the side. We saw earlier on that touchdown drive when Martin was able to get out there and pick up the first down.
Going to stretch it, miss it by half a length. Well, interesting decision right now for Phil Fulmer.
I don't see the punt team running out there, and with those arms crossed, he's giving you the body language like he's going to go for it.
Well, his team says, Coach, it's 3-4 inches. T. Martin says, let's huddle it up. And it's going to be 4th and short. That's how much confidence he has with his front. You see Tennessee 4th down conversions this season, 7 of 13 today, 1 for 1. They need about 3 inches. T. Martin jumps in a first down for the Volunteers. And Ed, great news. We've just been handed this word from Bud Ford, the Tennessee Sports Information Director.
Travis Henry has feeling and movement in all of his extremities. Everything was done in a precautionary manner to make sure he was okay. He was dazed by the blow to his head. That's why he was taken by a stretcher. He will have a neck x-ray and MRI to determine any cervical spine damage, but he was alert and had movement in all of extremities. Very good news for UT fans.
Very good indeed. Tennessee trying to work it up the middle behind Cozy Coleman.
It's actually good news for all sports fans.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Crosby made the stop on Lewis.
And you know, when we sat down with Coach Fulmer yesterday, he was talking about not redshirting freshmen. Right now, Greg Barnum is in at center. Spencer Riley went out, and Barnum had a really nice block on that 4th and short. Went down low under Alds and got a good block, and that's one thing Fulmer likes to do to keep his players happy. He says, I don't like to redshirt these guys. Get them on the field, get them some experience.
9th play of this drive. Little pitch goes out. Lewis lost the football, and Vanderbilt pointing the other way, and it's going to be Vandy football at the 44.
And the quickest way to let a team back in is put the ball on the green stuff. Jamal Lewis not sharp. He's not able to really cut off of that bad ankle. Came back to the middle, lost control of the ball.
Ainsley Battle's able to cover up. There is a flag down at midfield.
Little toss sweep. But watch Lewis when he goes to cut. He kind of, see, he has to gather himself, Craig. He's not 100%. You got to give him a lot of credit for gutting out Travis Henry down. But a good job, Vanderbilt, getting there, swatting that ball away.
Well, penalty declined, so Vanderbilt will take over at their own 44-yard line, trailing by 14. And they're going to start this drive, try to work it on the ground. Rodney Williams, maybe a yard. And tomorrow, right here on CBS, it's NFL doubleheader action. Most of you will see the Patriots against the Bills. Late games include the Jets and Colts, Kansas City and Oakland. And it all starts with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. Jim Nance and the boys, high noon tomorrow, right here on CBS.
And this is where Vanderbilt needs to start taking advantage of all the different personnel and formations they can run. That was the one thing that Tennessee was concerned about, was the different formations. They need to start spreading some things out, using some motion, and get this Tennessee defense back off on their heels.
Play action, Zolman fires it to Yoder. Yoder at the 50 and lowers his pads to the 49. Will Overstreet gave him a pop.
Todd Yoder, very interesting story. 6'4", 234 pounds. He's listed as an H-back. It's kind of a misnomer. He plays tight end, wide receiver, can line up in the backfield. Steve Crosby, the offensive coordinator, told us that this guy might know the offense better than I do. And Yoder even told us, he said, the reason I know the offense is I know the quarterback's reads. I know the offensive line's blocking schemes. I know all the routes to run. He knows every position on this field.
That's something when your offensive coordinator admits that maybe a player knows more than he does. Williams was hit before he even got the football. That's going to bring up fourth down. Dominique Stevenson crashing through to make the tackle about thigh high.
And Woody Woodenhofer sends Markham out to punt. A wise move by him. Tennessee has been sensational on teams going on for fourth down against them this year, only allowing 2 of 14 attempts on fourth down. So smart move by Coach Woodenhofer.
Well, Markham with a good punt can pin Tennessee deep. And back to receive is Eric Parker around his 11-yard line. Ooh, taken right on the run. Parker sprinting to the 19. Matt Stewart made the special team stop. Tennessee will have it after this. Welcome back, Knoxville, Tennessee. 9:06 remaining third quarter. Tennessee up 24-10, T. Martin and company. And whistles stop play. Here's Rom Gilbert.
Ball before the snap. Ball start. On the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still. First down.
All right, Ed. Time for our Aflac trivia question. This is a stumper maybe this week. Who are the only 3 players to go to the Super Bowl with 3 different teams?
The only hint you get is one of them is a coach in this game.
That's the only hint?
That's the only hint.
We'll have the answer here coming up. T. Martin going deep. Little push off and no flags, incomplete. He was looking for Dante Stallworth, and good coverage by Jimmy Williams.
One thing, Craig, that Tennessee has done very well all year. They just had a fumble. Jamal Lewis fumbled on their last series. On turnovers this year, on opponents have only scored 30 points off of 24 Tennessee turnovers. Now flip that over. Tennessee has scored 85 points off of 27 turnovers. It's been a very good year turnover-wise for Philip Fulmer and the Volunteers. We give a lot of credit to John Chavis and his defense. They've done a nice job with that quick change, going out in the field, stopping the other team with that momentum.
Second down at 15 from the shotgun. Busted play. Flags are down. T says, hey, I'll take it to the 17.
That was the definition of a busted play.
Philip Crosby, did he scoot a little early?
Yeah, it looked like Crosby, the fullback, lined up to the left of T. Martin. Backfield was in motion. Illegal motion, it looked like. You know it's a busted play, Craig, when everyone kind of stands there after the snap, including the guy holding the football, T. Martin.
Who, me?
Wait, should I do something with it?
Illegal motion on the offense. Penalty decline. Third down.
Sixth flag against Tennessee. Sunday on CBS, Emmy Award winners James Garner and Julie Andrews star as two people stranded in a blizzard who find a second chance at love. Don't miss these two great stars in a world premiere movie, One Special Night, Sunday on CBS. Third down and 15. Three wide out, slant across the middle. Incomplete. Fans are barking. Fans want the flag.
Yeah.
David Martin, the intended receiver, and Ainsley Battles back there. Some pressure by Turner.
The officials might have thought that that ball was uncatchable. The Battles got there just a tad early and got a bump onto Martin.
Well, the punt by Woody Woodenhofer pays off. It pins Tennessee deep. They're going to have to kick from their own goal line. Leverton will kick to Jimmy Williams back around the 46-yard line. Left footer gets a nice high hanger. Williams underneath it, takes it on the run, and nowhere to run. Downed at the 44-yard line. Bartholomew made the tackle, and we'll come back to Knoxville after this. Well, they're singing Rocky Top down here in Knoxville, home of Tennessee, 24-10 over Vanderbilt.
This crowd back to life. They just got the news that we received about Travis Henry. A nice ovation. A big sigh of relief by 107,000.
Jared McGrath, the lone back, now in motion. First and 10, Vandy. Zolman up in that pocket to the sideline, overthrows, incomplete.
You know, they just brought you the Heisman watch from New York. Let's look at my eye-openers of the season. First off, Major Applewhite. Here's a guy that I would pay double the ticket price to go watch. We saw his effect yesterday. Didn't get to play. Texas loses to A&M. The Penn State implosion. 4 guys on that defense are probably going to be first-rounders. Amazing what happened in the season. Mike DeBose, everything that happened to him, put together a great season. He's my SEC Coach of the Year, maybe National Coach of the Year. And defense, schmefense. Out goes the old saying, you have to play defense to win. Stanford's going to the Rose Bowl with the 106th worst defense in America.
Schmefense? All right, Ed. And Ron Dane has the Heisman, right? We shall see. Jared McGrath flags down at midfield. Overton and Grant team up to make the stop. Oh, a lot of flags. Holding. Ron Gilbert gives us a signal. McGrath had a terrific game a few weeks back. As I mentioned, he's just a solid guy. Not a huge speed man.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards. Spotted a ball. Repeat. Second down.
But McGrath will give you second and third effort time and time again.
And it was funny because you had mentioned earlier in the game, here's a guy from Ocala, Florida, right down the street from University of Florida, really wanted to go there. Spurrier would not take him, and Spurrier regrets that now. He says, you know, I don't know he would fit in our depth chart, but I guarantee you, I would love to have a guy like this on our team. Just the effort, his enthusiasm, how hard he runs. You can't have enough Jared McGrath on your team.
3 flags now for 24 yards against Vanderbilt. Second down and 20. Under 8 minutes ago, third quarter. Zolman throws it to the flat, incomplete. Lou Thomas on his fingertips. And that brings up third down.
Raynoch Thompson came on the blitz from the outside. Did a good job timing it up. Left tackle Gruber was not able to get out there and hit him. Raynoch Thompson, one of 4 finalists for the Butkus Award this year. LeVar Arrington, Brandon Short, both from Penn State, and Mark Semino from Kansas State. The 15th year that the Butkus Award will be given out by the Touchdown Club of the downtown Downtown Athletic Club of Orlando, excuse me.
4 tremendous linebackers. Fumbled the snap. Zolman recovers but dropped at the 23. And guess who was there? Raynoch Thompson.
Another one of the 23 seniors playing his last game.
He had 12 tackles a week ago against Kentucky.
A bad snap by Jeff Barnett. Zolman not able to get a hold of it. Elliott Carson blocking one-on-one with Thompson, but the angle became too severe. He got too far outside because of the bad snap. Carson not able to get Thompson knocked out of there.
Markham, good high kick, drives Eric Parker back inside his 30. Parker is parked at the 26, and it's Mike Martin making the special teams tackle. Well, Well, tonight on CBS, Team USA takes on the world in a blade-to-blade meltdown. Your favorite ice skating champions compete on an all-new Ice Wars. That's tonight right here on CBS. Blade-to-blade. First and 10, Tennessee at their own 26-yard line. Ontario Smith trying to work it off the left side behind Chad Clifton. Losey made the stop.
And this third quarter kind of starting like the game, a little disjointed for these offenses, not able to get anything really going early in this second half. Kind of like the first half, both these teams just kind of going back and forth, trading punts.
Martin play action, throws inside, complete, down around the 37-yard line. That was Cedric Wilson. All right, Ed, the answer to our Aflac trivia question. First, who are the only 3 players who have played in, what, 3 Super Bowls, 3 different teams, and Rutledge, Matt Millen, and Preston Pearson.
And Jeff Rutledge is with us today, the quarterback's coach for Vanderbilt. He lost to Woody Woodenhofer's Pittsburgh Steelers when he was with the Rams, won in '86 with the Giants, and won again in '91 with the Redskins.
Fumble covered up by Martin. That brings up second down and 11, a lose a yard. That's
Jeff
Greg
Rutledge.
Barnum, who could not get the snap back to T. Martin, the freshman out of Killeen, Texas.
When Jeff Rutledge was with the Washington Redskins, he replaced Stan Humphries in a game that they were down to Detroit 35-14. He threw for 363 yards, and the Redskins had their biggest comeback ever, 38-35. The defensive coordinator for the Lions at the time, Woody Woodenhofer, his head coach now.
How strange that circle at the tournament. Oh, what a open field tackle. Smith was upended by Winborn.
And Winborn will let everybody in the stadium know that he made a big play. Here's Jamie here. Watch him scrape over the top. He read the motion by Bartholomew, the fullback. It tipped him off. That's just good film study by Winborn. A guy that Dino Foligno, the defense coordinator, says, wears me out with questions. Hey, Jamie, let me breathe for a minute. Don't ask another question. But that was just film study by him, knowing the motion was going to tell him where the ball went. Good linebacker reaction. 10
tackles today. That's the 8th double-digit game of the season. Working down the sideline, Wilson. Cedric Wilson tackled by Alls, who came all the way from his nose tackle spot to make the stop on Wilson. And now grabbing that, left ankle? He had the hamstring problem.
Great hustle by Ryan Alds, though. Craig, if he doesn't get over there, this is a first down. Wilson had some running room. But Alds has started every game in his career. A junior, has not missed a snap. Dino Foligno, when we were asking about some of the players that stand out, he said, well, you know, this guy, I just take for granted he's going to do his job. I can kind of forget about him.
Well, he was named freshman All-America, and then all of a sudden Doyle Crosby comes on the scene, and Dino Foligno told us, Crosby may now be my best defensive lineman. They continue to look at Wilson, and we'll take a break. Well, Tennessee trainers, Ed, very busy today, overlooking several fallen volunteers. We'll give you an update if we can on Wilson. And the punt by Leverton is a boomer back to the 5-yard line. Jimmy Williams. And Williams driven back, and that brings a roar from this crowd here in Knoxville. Andre James making a stop.
A lot of big going-ons this weekend regarding the BCS standings. Tennessee, who had been in the catbird seat a few weeks ago after beating Notre Dame, then lost to Arkansas, still hoping for a BCS bid. But these guys pretty much cross them off. This is going to be your Sugar Bowl, Craig. Florida State versus Virginia Tech. Nebraska barely beat Colorado, a game they could have lost. A last-second field goal missed by Colorado. And Texas losing to Texas A&M. They won't get as much help in the Big 12 championship if they beat Texas.
Tennessee, where are they on that mix?
Oh, Tennessee's very strong in the mix, looking at a possible Fiesta bid.
Vanderbilt. Rodney Williams. Hard yardage up to the 13-yard lines. Thompson, Raynoch Thompson made the tackle. Well, Well, Sunday on 60 Minutes, it might make sense to you, but it didn't to 60 Minutes that the Army ruled this captain's death a suicide and not a murder. That story Sunday on 60 Minutes. Clock running under 4 minutes in the third quarter. It's been a scoreless second half to this point, 24-10 Tennessee. Zolman under center, looking at second down and 5. Movement and flags, and boy, a lot of finger pointing going on.
Another flag should be thrown, Craig. Number 92, Albert Hainsworth, after the flags had been thrown and the whistle blown, came across the line of scrimmage. Somebody flinched on the left side. Personal foul. Albert Hainsworth, a true freshman out of Hartsville High School in Hartsville, South Carolina, came across the line and laid a lick on Darren Rothenberg. It was the tight end Yoder, flinches. Whistle starts to blow, but watch right there. Hainsworth runs in.
Ball starts on the offense. 5-yard penalty, previous spot.
And Woody.
Followed by dead ball fall, personal fall, against the defense. 15 yards.
You know, the crowd can do all they want, Craig. That was the right call. The whistle had been blown. Hainsworth, a true freshman, still trying to feel his way out. He's done a nice job coming in with all the injuries. Billy Ratliff, who'd been a really stalwart guy in the middle for Tennessee, broke his ankle earlier in the season. Hainsworth has really stepped it up, but just not a smart play by him, knocking Rothenberg back into the backfield. Cost his team backing up to a 2nd and 10. Now 1st and 10 with better field position.
And you notice Phil Fulmer quickly grabbed him out of that game. Williams working sideline, dances out, stops the clock at the 31-yard line. Rodney Williams wants to be a doctor. Rodney Williams, a sophomore from Birmingham.
Rushing yardage has not been very good, 118.5 on the season. When you combine what Williams and McGrath have done, they average 112. But today, the Tennessee defense up to the test. Vanderbilt has not really, especially in the second half, been able to get any kind of mixture in. They really feed on that running game to open up some things with the play action. They haven't gotten that going yet.
Now Williams with 9 carries, 37 yards, and had that touchdown in the second quarter. Play action on the rollout. Zolman throws, fires, complete. What a stick. Ball falls incomplete. Well, what a hit. Simone, the tight end, number 84, a redshirt freshman out of Pittsburgh, took it right on the numbers.
Yeah, a little late throw by Zolman, and Fred White, a senior out of Griffin, Georgia, is talking about Larry Slade, the new defensive back coach for Tennessee, has allowed us to be more aggressive. Get a lot more aggressive than that. A nice midsection shot by Fred White, head up, tackle with the shoulder, good form tackle by Fred.
3rd down and 4. Now the nose of the football just past the 30. Under 3 minutes left in the third. Zolman in the pocket. It collapses. He can run. Outside he goes. Tripped up and taken down at the 31. Boy, Dominique Stevenson made up some ground in a hurry.
Yes, he did. Zolman is not a slow quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. A full-on blitz. Stevenson comes in the middle, gets picked up by Rodney Williams, and then it's just all effort. Got to pursue, get down around the legs. Will Overstreet out there also in pursuit. Good hustle defense by Dominique Stevenson.
Let me tell you why he can close in a hurry. High school running back, about 1,900 yards his senior year, 22 touchdowns. He can run.
Easier to run without that ball, though.
Exactly. Parker wiggles his way to the 41. Well, Tuesday on CBS, an air disaster. Was it pilot error or a commander's negligence? Find out on America's #1 action drama, an all-new Jag, at Tuesday night right here on CBS.
And in a second half that has really become a war of attrition, teams just figuring out whose punter is going to be better. Tennessee comes up with very good field position on their own 41.
2 wide receivers set from the I. 1st and 10, T. Martin and company at the 41. And 5 yards is Ontario Smith, taken down by Battles.
You know, when Travis Henry and And if you've just come back to the game, Travis Henry, the report is he has movement in his extremities, mostly precautionary to take him out. But we talked about his numbers, over 4,000 yards rushing. Ontario Smith, Grant High School, Sacramento, true freshman. He had 3,154 yards rushing as a senior in high school.
Pitch. Ontario Smith lowers the pass, dishes out to Hurt to the 44. And he got the pads on Ainsley Battles. And you like that in a running back where they don't, like the Walter Payton theory.
Yeah.
You know what? Don't let you come to me. I come to you.
Right. You're coming to hit me, I'm going to come hit you. And that's one of the tough things for a true freshman to learn. But he got his first extensive playing time last week in the blowout win over Kentucky. Jamal Lewis was on the sideline. 10 carries, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns, and one of those a spectacular 61-yard touchdown run.
All career highs. 1st and 10. Hand off to the fullback Crosby. Well, he's getting some carries today. He doesn't know what to do. Coming into this game, he only touched the ball 5 times.
Randy Sanders, when we sat down with him yesterday, we were talking about his fullbacks. He said, you know, I'm really going to miss a guy like Crosby. He comes to practice every day, works as hard as anybody on our team, and never complains that I don't give him the ball. And I said, Coach, it's senior day. You're going to give him a few touches. And he started laughing, saying, nah, he doesn't need them. But like you said, he's been touching the ball like crazy for him today.
Stallworth and Parker.
Sanders was sandbagging us, I think, correct?
I think he was. Play action. Martin on the rollout. Side arm to the sideline. Caught and brought down. Parker with a nice catch at the 36-yard line. Jimmy Williams out there, number 9 for Vanderbilt.
You know, Craig, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with T. Martin when his entire career is over, and what the NFL is going to do. This guy's a real special player. It'll be interesting to see what the NFL thinks of him. I can't see why someone would not take him fairly high with his athletic ability and that arm. And Philip Fulmer's been around some great quarterbacks. He said yesterday, someone needs to give this guy a shot.
Final seconds of the third ticking down. And Philip Fulmer and T. Martin and company will take a 24-10 lead into the 4th quarter. We'll return to Neyland Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. 4th quarter underway here in Knoxville. Scoreless 3rd quarter, 24-10 Tennessee. They continue to grind away on the ground. Winborn and Turner make the tackle.
And again, that's Philip Crosby, the fullback, who only had 5 rushes coming into today's game.
That's 3 today.
Might double it before the day's over, double his season rushes.
They may have to bring him to the sideline and
give him some oxygen.
Yeah, let him rest up. 3 carries for 7 yards and a touchdown. Well, who will be the athlete of the century? Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Muhammad Ali, Henry Aaron, maybe Ed Cunningham. I don't think so. Find out on the Sports Illustrated 20th Century Sports Awards. That's Thursday night, live from Madison Square Garden, right here on CBS. Who do you like there? Gretzky? Michael?
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, so many great. The end of the century with Jordan and Gretzky, it's so tough to make that call. I'm not going on a limb is what I'm saying.
Okay, I got you. Way to cover. 2nd down. T. Martin. Play action going for the home run ball. Sideline. Caught. Gripped and bound at the 18. Eric Parker in traffic. And Jimmy Williams on him like a blanket. But what a throw. Give credit to T. Martin.
Yeah, I mean, this ball, if it's not thrown perfectly, Ainsley Battles, the strong safety, is going to come underneath the route, going for the pass. If that ball is not thrown perfectly, it's batted away or it's an interception by Ainsley Battles. It just doesn't get any better than that on an out route, Craig.
Eric Parker, the only volunteer to catch a pass in every game this season, had himself a 5-ball game against Vanderbilt. T. Martin set up the screen right in the arms of Dante Stallworth, and the clock will continue to run. Battling down there for another tackle at the 12-yard line.
Well, we've already seen Ontario Smith, the true freshman from Grant High School in Sacramento. Now you're seeing his old high school teammate, Dante Stallworth, a redshirt freshman, his 2nd year in the program, also out of Grant High School in Sacramento. When they went to recruit Ainsley Battles, a little shaken up on the play, but when they went to recruit Dante Stallworth, they saw this guy Smith running around quite a bit, so they started recruiting him, and a nice grab for Philip Fulmer out of Sacramento, both of those players.
Battles being looked at along the sideline. Look at this formation. They stack 3 to the far side. Staying on the ground. It's Smith to the 11. And Winborn again putting more totals on that tackle chart. Number 42. He leads the SEC.
Telling everybody about
it. He's the talker. And no question. I mean, Dino Foligno told us if of all the backers with Stewart, Winborn, Turner, and Morrow, he is the most competitive guy he's ever seen.
And we talked earlier about Raynoch Thompson being a finalist for the Butkus Award. Here's a guy as a sophomore. This will be his second year in a row leading the SEC in tackles. Very soon you're going to start hearing his name with a lot of those awards.
Third down and call it 3. Martin on the rollout. Throws and complete inside the 10. Dante Stallworth and Russian Jones and T. Martin a little slow getting up.
The reason you're starting to see Dante Stallworth used quite a bit is because Cedric Wilson, the leading receiver for Tennessee, is out with a sprained ankle. Not sure if he will return, but a good job by Stallworth getting that hand underneath. The blitz coming from the backside. T. Martin takes a shot up top by Schaub. Not a late hit. That was a good clean play by the true freshman Schaub. Schaub was Mr. Tennessee in football his senior year, so Vanderbilt starting to win a couple of the recruiting battles in state.
You saw the numbers on T. Martin, over 200 yards of total offense today. Tennessee running the football. Crosby with his 4th carry to the 8 and a first down for Tennessee. Good. Crosby getting his just due today. All that hard work paying off. Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, says let's give it to 21. He played a year at Coffeyville Community College, one of the finer JC programs around the country.
Coffeyville always putting guys in Division 1A. Sometimes tough to get to a school like Tennessee as a junior college, but they knew Crosby was a good guy, and that's what Fulmer really looks at. Not only good players, he wants good guys in this program.
First and goal. Touchdown. Smith, the freshman. Ontario Smith, a 190-pounder, runs in his 3rd touchdown of the season.
And we've seen Philip Crosby line up as the tailback with the injury to Travis Henry. This time, lines up back at the fullback, gets a nice job, does a nice job clearing the way for Ontario Smith. Smith better go to the sideline and thank his big fullback, 243-pound Crosby. Had a great block on that one.
Extra point, up and through by Walls. And Phil Fulmer, yep, touchdown. We'll be back. Well, Ontario Smith telling everybody this is how I did it. When a cut left, went back right.
Followed his fullback. Smart man.
31-10, Tennessee, no return. DeVaris Hogan's takes the knee 2 yards deep. Twelve plays, Ed, 59 yards, 6 minutes off the clock, and Ontario Smith, 8-yard touchdown run.
Splitting duties at tailback with Philip Crosby. We saw Jamal Lewis come in the 3rd quarter. He just didn't look like he could really cut on that ankle. So it appears that the Tennessee coach is going with the true freshman and a fullback playing tailback, just not wanting to make that injury any worse for Lewis.
How about the way Phil Fulmer divided that up? 9 rushes with only 3 passes from T. Martin. Jared McGrath, the lone back. Zolman pedals and throws the rainbow up top. Batted away. And a great play by Vandy's Tavares Hogans. He could not make that catch, and he batted that ball away from Deion Grant, who nearly took the pick for Tennessee.
It's amazing that this is the first time we've talked about Deion Grant. Last year led the team with 5 interceptions. This year he's 3rd in the country with 8 interceptions. Almost able to get over there and get his hands on it, but you're right, a couple of number 7s, Hogans and Grant, both going for that ball, knocked it out of each other's hands. But Deion Grant having a great year. When he was a true freshman, said he learned everything from Terry Fair, a first-rounder now with the Detroit Lions.
Zolman 1 of 7, one of his last 7 for only 9 yards. McGrath gets the ball, turns the corner, 25, bumps out of bounds, and takes a good shot at the 27. Well, doubleheader action tomorrow right here on CBS. National Football League. Most of you will see the Patriots and the Bills. Late game includes the Jets and Colts or the Chiefs and the Raiders. Always a great game. And it all begins. And at halftime, NASDAQ halftime report. Make sure you check that out with Jim Nance and the guys. Doubleheader action. NFL winding down another season. Hard to believe.
It's amazing how quickly it goes once it starts.
3rd down and 1. And they got the wave going here.
Trivia question, Craig. Where was the wave invented?
Washington.
How'd you guess?
McGrath driven back by a wall of orange. And he's going to be about a half a yard shy. Fred White led, and I mean led, a big wall of orange coming through. McGrath put his hat down.
You know, that color orange that Tennessee wears is so distinct. When you see Tennessee, you don't have to see the T on the helmet to know that that's the Tennessee Volunteers. And McGrath saw all that orange. There was really nowhere for him to go. He tried to tuck it and get what he could, but with 3 of those jerseys standing in front of him, he didn't have a whole lot of luck.
Mark him in now to punt the ball away at his own 15-yard line. Eric Parker back to receive. Good kick. Parker, fair catch at the 31. Well, McGrath felt the wrath. They drive him back. 31-10. We'll be back. Well, Tennessee has won 21 straight here at Neyland Stadium, trying to make it 22 in a row. They lead 31-10 with just under 10 minutes left to go. 1st and 10. T. Martin throws and fires. Ball tipped, incomplete. Oh, Ainsley Battles was there, who was shaken up, remember, on that last series, but back in.
Ainsley's got to set that ball a little better, Craig. He's got to get his soft hands underneath of it, get it up there with no spin so somebody can catch it. 1, 2, 3, 4 players get their hands, well, 3 players 4 different times get their hands on the ball to knock that around, and Russian Jones sitting there screaming with his arms up. Can't believe he wasn't able to bring that thing down.
2nd down 10. Not much buried on that front line of Vanderbilt. Today's Rigid Tools Scholar Athlete of the Game is Will Bartholomew, fullback for the University of Tennessee, sophomore from Nashville, 3.7 GPA in general business. Rigid Tools' commitment to the investment of our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to the University of Tennessee General Scholarship Fund. Will Bartholomew. Boy, I wish I could have carried a 3.7. What was yours? Never mind.
Is the word.
Never mind.
3.43.
Was it?
Believe it or not.
3rd down. They set up 3 wideouts to the near side, then run the football. Ontario Smith, and it's 3 up. And here we go again.
We were just talking about Will Bartholomew. His grandfather, Sam, was captain of the 39 UT team that went unscored upon.
Quick punt. Leverton. Oh, a great kick. Good hang time at the 20 is Jimmy Williams. And late flags now tossed in. Williams taken at the 21, and it's Fred White. Fred White getting down on the bullet in a hurry to make the tackle.
And I believe they're going to get Steve Rock for blocking in the back for Vanderbilt. Down around the ball, you got to be careful. The angles start to get a little funny as you get closer to the ball. Steve Rock was down there trying to block on the bullet guy for Tennessee down running, and just got a little block in the back.
And you look at this field, still sunny, as we'll get the call from Ron Gilbert.
On the return, block in the back, on the return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down, TV.
I'll finish that thought when we come back. Timeout. Future linebacker or maybe defensive end.
He's just happy to be here in the sun right now.
Vanderbilt down 31-10 on the ground. Big hole and a nice run. Rodney Williams past the 30 to the 31. Deion Grant chased him down, but a 1st down, and Vanderbilt finally with a little breathing room to work on this series.
Good job by the left side of that offensive line. Jim May and Gruber. The center is Jeff Barnett, the center. Little block back, kick out block by the right guard, Michael Saltzman. Opens a huge hole.
Only the second first down for Vanderbilt in this half. Clock running, coming up on 8 minutes. Again, little hop and a skip. Williams, a couple of tough yards to the 34. Fred White, the strong safety, made the hit.
You know, the open of the game, Craig, we were talking about the defense of Vanderbilt, but you made a point about how the offense has really improved this year. Averaging over 24 points per game coming into the game, 242 total points. That's the most since 1987 for Vanderbilt. So really a nice job by Steve Crosby and his staff. They've changed some things up, a lot of different formations, some personnel, but really the key, they're starting to get some players, and the young players starting to get some experience.
And Ed, one of many reasons why Woody Wittenhofer signed that 4-year extension that keeps him here at Vanderbilt till 2005. Second down in round. Tennessee didn't buy it. Tavares Hogan's tackle back inside the 20.
And Hogan's very lucky to get back on that ball as he was trying to make a cut back to the middle. We saw Jared McGrath face a wall of orange. Everybody stays home for Tennessee. Great job getting up the field by number 56, Bernard Jackson, a backup defensive end. Stayed home, so to speak, at his defensive end spot. Nice job.
Well, CBS Sportsline stat of the game, you're looking at it. Third down conversions. Vandy 0 for 11 today. For complete college football coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com.
And the reason they're 0 for 11 is they haven't had success on first down. They've been third and long all day. We saw third and 27 earlier. This is a third and 21. Real tough to convert these.
Shotgun, Zolman. Lot of running room to the near side. Tucks, chase, slides at the 22. And the clock continues to run. I think he wanted to slide out of bounds, but Sean Ellis giving chase for Tennessee, and that brings up another punting situation, and on comes John Markham.
Boy, John Chavis, the defensive coordinator at Tennessee, has called an excellent game. Now, it helps that he's been able to get some pass rush with just his 4 down guys, but that time he comes with his outside linebacker blitz. Although it was picked up, they were able to flush Zolman out of the pocket.
Markham, line drive shot, taken at the 44. It's Eric Parker, and he's down at the 47. He'll pick up 3 on the return. And Ed, next week, tune in. Army-Navy, all the pageantry. One of the great rivalries of all time in college football is Army-Navy next Saturday right here on CBS, high noon Eastern time. Make sure you mark that down and tune it in.
And I'm one of the lucky ones, Greg.
You'll be there.
To be at that game, covering sidelines with Michelle Tafoya up in Philadelphia.
Sean McDonough and Todd Blackledge will have the call. First and 10, Tennessee at their own 48-yard line. 5:43 remaining. They own a 31-10 lead. They're going to try to chew clock as they run the football. And the freshman Ontario Smith will get many carries here in this final quarter. Nate Morrow made the tackle for Vanderbilt.
Morrow, one of the 3 out of the 4 linebackers for Vandy that has a touchdown this year. Matt Stewart is the only starter as T. Martin comes out and gets a well-deserved ovation. His last game, Craig, if Tennessee wins this game, 14-0 as a starter at home, quarterback for Tennessee.
And so Joey Matthews replaces him, and right off the catch, can you say so well? Ontario Smith. 51 yards.
And Joey Matthews runs to the sideline and says, Coach, this is easy. Why didn't you put me in the game earlier?
Smith with his second fourth-quarter touchdown. Yeah. Hey, T, I'll take it from here.
Hey, Joey Matthews is going to go over, and first he's going to thank Ontario Smith for making his first snap in the game look so great, but he's going to go up to T. Martin and say, that isn't so tough. I mean, I know you had a great career, but that was easy.
Alex Walls in to try the point after. High snap, good hold, kick is up and through. Ontario Smith, the freshman from Sacramento, waving bye-bye. 51 yards. 38-10, Tennessee. Joey Matthews, a freshman, sharing a moment, Ed, with the senior, T. Martin. Hogan's returns. And to the 21-yard line.
You know, you got to wonder how hard it is to replace a legend. When T. Martin took over as a starter, he was replacing a legend in Tennessee, Peyton Manning. So how does he stack up? Better winning percentage. Has a win against Florida that Peyton never had. And, of course, the big one last year, national champions. Now the question becomes, does he get a street named after him? Peyton Manning Pass is right behind the stadium.
My guess is T. Martin Terrace. All right. Phil Fulmer has the name right in front of the stadium running by.
Another great day for T. Martin, 207 yards of total offense.
Zolman has gone the distance for Vanderbilt. Throws sideline. Caught up on the ladder at the 32 is Tavares Hogan's.
And part of the tradition at Tennessee is walking from these dorms, the players, to the stadium. And one of the streets that they walk on is Peyton Manning Pass. It was named in Knoxville. City Council decided to name that street after Peyton Manning after his incredible career here at Tennessee. And T. Martin, when we were talking earlier about him, he went to Peyton and he said, hey, I need some advice on how to take over for you. And Peyton Manning said, you know, this is a quick conversation. Just be yourself. And Martin has really done a good job of that.
You know, that's great advice. Yoder in motion. Zolman throws it up and kicked it.
Who else?
Taken by Deion Grant. And driven out at the 20. Grant, Ed, you mentioned he's ranked number 3 in the nation in interception. That's number 9 and his 12th pick in his last 14 games. Number 9 this season.
Just Zolman trying to make something happen down the field. Can't really fault him. Just gets too much air into the ball, and the free safety Grant rotates over. What a great year for Deion Grant. A lot of people, he's a junior. He is NCAA interception leaders this season. He was 3rd coming into the game. Now tied for 1st with Delta O'Neal of Cal and Rodriguez Brooks of UAB. But they do come in bunches for this guy. Tied a UT record when he had 3 interceptions earlier this year against Auburn. And then last week against Kentucky, he had 2 more. 1 more here today. And just a great season for Deion Grant in his junior year.
Had a 32-yard return and stacked on 15 more. The personal foul against Vanderbilt. So it's 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Joey Matthews will go ahead and finish this game out at quarterback for Tennessee. T. Martin has done his thing. On the ground, it's the freshman to freshman. Matthews, a handoff to Ontario Smith, and Ainsley Battle still in there battling with the hard hit. Say good things to come for Vanderbilt as things continue on here.
And we were talking about the contract extension, and when we were speaking with Woody Woodenhofer, he said, I think the reason I was given this extension was not only are we starting to win games, but we still continue to graduate people. They graduate football players at a clip of 87%. Now, when you compare that to the school in general at Vanderbilt, the school only graduates 82%, so they're actually above the student body rate of graduation.
2nd down, 6. Pitch, flags, and the whistle stopped play. Play clock was down to 0.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
When we sat down with Philip Fulmer yesterday, it's amazing the difference between 98 and 99. Both seasons came down to 2 to 3 plays. This year, those 2 to 3 plays cost them 2 wins. Last year, those 2 to 3 plays propelled them into the national championship.
There's a fine line. He said you walk game after game after game. 2nd down. Smith again. Carries stacked up at the 10.
And Coach Fulmer had a good feeling coming into this game. We asked him, you know, there's still a lot at stake. There's a big difference between going to a BCS Bowl, you know, they're expected possibly to go to the Fiesta Bowl or another bowl, the Citrus or something, in dollars. And when we talked to him about that, he said, you know, we realize there's still some big things out there for us. And we asked him about his week of practice. He said, my guys understand how big this is. We cannot take this Vanderbilt team lightly. And they haven't. They've come out and played a real good game, given a lot of good effort.
3rd down and 9. Ontario Smith, quick Little hitch to the outside, tackled down at the 13. Lamont Turner brought him down, loss of a yard, maybe 2.
But the one thing, Craig, this is the second Vanderbilt game we've done. The one thing that this team never does is quit. Lamont Turner, the quiet captain they call him, doesn't say a whole lot, but one of the 4 great linebackers Vanderbilt has. They continue to play hard. And John Chavis, the defensive coordinator at Tennessee, gave Woody Woodenhofer a great compliment. He said, you can tell how passionate he is about this game by how his players play. And they're still giving effort, even though this game pretty much in the book.
4th down and 11. Smith again, stacked up, breaks the tackle, and then got around the shoelaces. Boy, nearly got in for another one. And guess who? It was Jamie Winborn.
It's amazing. Here we are in the 4th quarter, 1:45 left. And this crowd is still on their toes with that true freshman Ontario Smith in there running, expecting him to bounce that for the TD.
Well, tonight on CBS, Team USA takes on the world in a blade-to-blade meltdown. Your favorite ice skating champions compete on an all-new Ice Wars. Then one man is taking a stand to protect innocent students. Deion Sanders joins Chuck Norris for a show every parent should see. That's Walker, Texas Ranger. It's all new, and it's all tonight, right here on CBS.
You know, that was a class move by Coach Fulmer. He's got a young quarterback in there playing really for the first time, and he extended action and just run the ball out, give the ball back to Vanderbilt. No need to run the score.
Vanderbilt's going to run. It's Rodney Williams to the 20-yard line, a pickup of 11.
And Craig, that's one of the things I think that the BCS needs to look at. They've already tweaked the system a little bit when they said that the Division I AA playoffs do not count against teams that play Division I AA teams, which I think was the right move. But they have to start looking at the computer rankings and how they look at margin of victory. I think that's one thing that needs to be tweaked. It kind of takes away from the college football what this is all about, why these guys are out here playing. I don't think a coach needs to think, okay, I have to run up the score so we look better in some of these computer rankings.
But you know what, though, Ed? There will be argument over that because many times when it comes down to points and points totals, they're going to say, hey, the computer tells no lies.
Well, but I think the way you solve that is you say, as long as you beat a team by X number of points, 14 or 17, after that, it doesn't matter. So once you get up by that, by that margin as a coach, you don't have to worry about running up that score.
Zolman going up top again, incomplete, threw into double coverage, and nearly another pick by Deion Grant.
The last time he'll take off his shoulder pads. We'll document the whole thing for his senior year, his last game at Neyland Stadium.
The pads are off, but the jersey will go back on. We had a great conversation with T. Martin yesterday in the training room. He was getting some ice, not on just the ankle, but also
late
on the
in the season. Yeah, he's got a few dings.
But you know what? He's really a young man together. He's a young man that knows his position here at Tennessee, the legacies that have come before and now after him.
Yeah, that word legacy. Raynock Thompson made a good point when we were talking to him. We said, what are you going to remember? He said, the legacy I left. I helped this team win the first BCS national championship.
46 ticks. Zolman fires a dart across the middle, complete. And it's taken down by Travaris Hogans. Here's a guy who runs that sub-4 4.40, and he can sprint and get downfield in a hurry. Goodrich, the right corner, made the tackle.
We were just looking at T. Martin, and they were getting ready to play the Orange Bowl back in 1997. And Peyton Manning, who was always really talkative in films, was real quiet. And he said, hey, what's wrong? And he was looking at the film. Peyton said, man, I wish I had one more year. You guys are going to be awful good next year. It's like Manning saw into the crystal ball and saw they had a championship caliber team for '98.
Final seconds ticking down. Zolman continues to fire, incomplete. He was throwing the out while it looked like Dan Stricker went in. Stops it.
And you saw Zolman. Hey, he's giving the thumb, telling him which direction he's supposed to be running.
Handshakes all around. That was Steve Crosby, the offensive coordinator, or pardon me, with Tennessee. That's Randy Sanders with Philip Fulmer.
Sanders was a quarterback himself from '84 to '88 here at UT.
Second down. Zolman handoff. Not much. And the final seconds tick away as Rodney Williams is tackled down, and that's going to do it. T. Martin's final home game. So for Ed Cunningham, this is Craig Bullerjack saying so long from Neyland Stadium, where the final score is Tennessee 38 and Vanderbilt 10. Stay tuned for Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman back in our CBS studios.